Hello, our viewers, and today I welcome you on our channel. And today we'll be talking on how to get a mortgage in France. I have my host, NJOROGE, who is a real estate agent, and today she'll take us through the process of buying a mortgage in France. Like you know, buying a house to stay, it's not that easy. We need to be assisted by somebody, and Diana is there to assist us. When you stay in a house here in France, you'll be just paying rent every time. And the best will be you own that house, because 20 years after, the house is still not yours. So Diana is going to help us, and I'm just going to invite her to introduce herself. It's not the first time I'm inviting her on Kenyans in France. So Diana, you can tell us who you are, what you do, and then you can do your presentation.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Noah. It's always a pleasure to have you on board. I'm happy to be here once again. It's always a pleasure to talk to the Kenyan community and to enlighten us on how to go about real estate issues here in France. So my name is Diana NJOROGE. I work with Hosanna Finance, and Hosanna Finance is a real estate firm that is based on 7 years in real estate. We focus on servicing international profiles, either expatriates or non-residents. This structure enables us to support our clients globally and to offer tailor-made solutions. So we offer solutions in 4 major areas. The first one being real estate optimization of taxes. By this, I mean for those who wish to reduce or to eliminate their taxes, we enable them to do this by using the tax incentives for those living in France. Through strategic real estate investments, we accompany our clients who wish to buy residential or rental property, and this includes general global accompaniment from A to Z of the whole process until they get the keys to their home. And thirdly, through brokerage services in partnership with brokers, we enable our clients to get the best interest rate for their loans and to get the best mortgage that they can get because of the connections that you have with the brokers. And of course, through personal management of finances, we enable those clients who wish to invest, but they cannot because of financial challenges, to be able to go about that process. We advise them on how they can be able to save, on how they can use different saving products, so that eventually they can be able to achieve their vision of owning a home in France. So I'm very happy to be here today talking about real estate financing. It is a topic that is quite interesting for people because many people think it is quite it is difficult, or because of sometimes lack of knowledge. But what you need is guidance actually, to just know how to go about it and to know that it is possible to buy your house in France. You don't have to rent all your life living in France. It is possible to go about to get a house, to get a mortgage, but you just need to know how to go about it. So today, this afternoon, I'm very happy to talk about this topic because I know it is going to enlighten us. And of course, if you have any questions, you can ask me at the end of the session. So I'm just going to share my screen. Share my screen over here. All right. So as I said, I work with Hosanna Finance. And so as I said, that is what we do: the optimization of taxes, strategic real estate investments, brokerage services, and personal management of finances. These are the solutions that we offer. So our topic tonight, going directly to the topic, real estate financing. So why talk about this topic? Because if you want to buy a house, of course, you'll have to get a loan, unless, of course, you have cash somewhere and you wish to buy cash, which is not the case for most people, because most of the houses, most of the apartments will cost above 100,000, and it is not possible for everyone to have 100,000 in their pocket to be able to buy a house. So that's why we go through mortgages. So mortgages are very common in France for most people who want to buy their houses in France. So before I start, I'll just look at the introduction. We're going to look at the introduction, the type of the mortgage loans that are available in France, the required documents, the mortgage process, and refinancing your loan, how you can go about it. Okay. So we're talking about a mortgage, but what is a mortgage? A mortgage simply is a loan that you get to buy a house. Okay. The advantage of using a mortgage is that you can buy a loan, you can get a mortgage to buy a house that is costing a lot of money, which would not be otherwise the case. And the advantage is that once you get the mortgage, you can be able to repay it over a long period of time. All right. So that is why people go through the mortgage process. Then you need to understand a few things concerning the mortgage, the basics. For example, what is a down payment? Because when you go to a bank and you want to ask for a mortgage, then they will start telling you that you have to give a down payment. So what is a down payment? A down payment is simply the amount of money that comes out of your pocket, out of your savings, towards the purchasing of a project, purchasing of the house. It could be a house, it could be a piece of land. Okay, and this evening we're talking about buying houses. So what about a loan amount? What is a loan amount? The loan amount now is the difference between the purchasing price and the down payment. That is what we call the loan amount. The loan term is the amount of time that it will take you to reimburse the bank. That is called the loan term. It could be 20 years, 25 years, or 30 years. All right. Then we talk about the interest rate. The interest, if once you get a mortgage from the bank, then this loan is going to cost you a particular amount of money, and that amount that is what you're going to call the interest rate. So it is the cost that it will cost you to get the loan. All right. So how does it work? Of course, when you're planning to buy a house, you're not going to wake up one day and just decide to go ahead and buy a house. No, it takes you need to think about it. You need to save some money. You need to see a real estate advisor so that you can know how to go about it. You can get organized with your finances and start the planning process. Okay. We're going to look at the type of mortgage loans that are available. Many people do not know that, but we have different types of mortgage loans, and today I'm going to highlight the most important, which are the capital repayment or interest only method. When you look at the capital repayment facility, actually this type of loan facility, it simply means that you repay first the capital, and the interest at the same time. Okay, and then for the interest only loan, you only pay interest for the past years. For example, if the loan period is 20 years, you're only going to pay the interest for those 20 years, and then at the time of the loan term, then you're going to pay the full amount. So the difference between the two is that the capital repayment loan, you know exactly how much you're going to pay each month, because you know you have to repay each month for your loan. Then the advantage is that you know how much you're supposed to pay by each month. Okay, but the interest only, you know that you're going to pay this amount of the interest first, and then you have to have that amount of money already in the bank. The interest only kind of a loan is interesting for people who have a lot of money in the bank, so they already have that 350 or 250,000 for the house, and it is also interesting for landlords who can be able to deduct the interest from the rent they receive. They can be able to reduce their taxes using the interest. Then you have the fixed or the variable rate mortgage. When you talk about the fixed or variable rate mortgage, the fixed mortgage, you know the amount of money that the interest rate that you're going to pay for a certain period of time. Okay. Whereas the variable rate mortgage, you don't know, the rate can go up or down. So you might pay more amount, your monthly repayments might be more one month, or they might be low the other month. The disadvantage is that you don't know, you cannot be able to budget, okay, because it's a variable rate. So most people choose the fixed rate mortgage. You know, you're going to pay your loan a certain amount of money, but for a certain period of time, and it is going to be, you can be able to budget for that. Then you have the bridging finance. When you talk about the bridging finance, it simply means that for a person who wishes to purchase a property, they can ask for a loan, but at the same time they have an existing property that has not been sold. So this is a loan that is just coming to help the person to be able to purchase another property, but there's already an existing property that is already in place. Then talking about the hybrid mortgage, this is the kind of mortgage that can benefit a person that has several kinds of subsidized mortgages, because in France we have different kinds of subsidized mortgages, and so if you benefit from different subsidized mortgages, you group them together, then you pay different amounts of monthly repayments, because the different subsidized mortgages have their their limit, so you cannot pay the same amount of money. That is the difference between the hybrid and the others. Okay. Of course, if you have any questions, you can ask me at the end of the session. So there are also mortgages for first-time buyers. We have the interest-free mortgages, the employer loans, the social loans, and the home purchasing savings account. It is important for us to know that it is the mortgages for first-time buyers are there. So don't think that you just need to have your salary to be able to buy a house. Actually, these are complementary mortgages that come to add on what you can already receive from the bank. That is the principal loan. So the interest-free mortgage, otherwise known as the Prêt à Taux Zéro, this is a government initiative actually to enable as many people as possible to own their homes in France. So this is already available. Of course, it is based on a particular amount of resources. It cannot be for everyone, but it is possible for you to take advantage of the Prêt à Taux Zéro. The second one, the employer loans. You have to be working for a company, of course, that has this kind of a loan facility. The employers come together and they contribute their taxes towards a housing fund, and then the employees, they can benefit from this kind of a loan if you work for that company. Then you have the social loans. These are loans that are easily available. You just need to know which one is better, which one you can be able to access to. If you don't have access to one, you can obviously get access to the other kind of a loan, the prêt accession social or le prêt conventionnel. Home purchasing savings account. This is a kind of a loan that you can have when you are when you open an account at the bank, and you're going to look at it in a short while. So as I said, the interest-free mortgage, the Prêt à Taux Zéro, being an instrument of the government that the government is trying to use to encourage home ownership in France, you have to know whether you are eligible or not. Of course, for you to be eligible, you have to be a first-time buyer, and you must not have owned your house at least 2 years. You must not have owned a house in France, and then for people who are disabled, they can also benefit from it, and those whose houses have been destroyed by natural catastrophe, they can benefit from this. Okay. This kind of loan can cover up to 40% of the price of the property. It's important to know that, because 40% is also good money. All right. And the amount also differs in the regions where you come from. So the amount cannot be the same for a person who is in Paris and a person that is coming from the outside region of Paris. So it's good to know that. As I said, we're talking about there's a limit of resources as far as the interest of the Prêt à Taux Zéro interest-free mortgage is concerned. You can see, I'm just going to say it very quickly. For just one person, the limit, for example, the person who is in zone A, which is the Paris and the environment, is 37,000. Okay, that means if you're earning more than 37,000, then you cannot benefit from the Prêt à Taux Zéro if you're just one person. Of course, the amount will differ if you're in the second zone here, which is a zone that has more than 50,000 in population. It is 30,000. Okay. Zone B2, another zone that has less than 50,000 people, 27,000. Zone C, 24,000 euros. So, and these are the number of people that are occupying the number of people in over the number of people in a household. So what I'm saying is that with this kind of limitation, then you need to be sure that you can benefit from the threat at all zero. But if you know that your resources are less, for example, if you're a couple and your resources are less than 51,000, then you know you can benefit from the threat at all zero. So most people are able to benefit from this kind of an interest-free mortgage. Okay. Then, as I said, for the employer loans, then the one thing about the employer loans is that you can be able to accumulate this kind of loans. You can benefit from the Pret à taux zero, as I said, the interest-free mortgage, and then you accumulate it with the Prêt-Accès Logement, that is the employer loan, and then plus the principal loan that you're going to receive from the bank. You accumulate the three loans, and you can be able to buy your house. So most people do not know that, but it is important for you now to know that there are these facilities that are available for people to be able to buy their houses in France. As I said, for the social loans, then these kind of social loans, they are there to help people to purchase their houses for construction or renovation work. So the good thing with this kind of loans is that you can be able to buy either you can buy a house or you can buy a piece of land with this kind of a loan. Of course, it will come to accumulate. You can use it as a complementary on your the principal loan. For the home purchasing savings account, everyone can be able to open this kind of account. You can just go to your bank and ask to open. They're called compte épargne logement or POL. You open this kind of account and then you save each month the amount of money that you wish to. The minimum is 45 euros, but it's better if you could be able to save more than 45 euros. And then with this, you can benefit by saving towards your home loan, towards your home, the purchasing of your home, and then when they lend you the money, you're not going to pay any the lender fees. We're going to look at the mortgage process. So once you have been able to know that it is possible for you to get a loan, and the different kinds of loans and the possibilities for you to buy a house in France, then you think about the mortgage process. Most people ask themselves, what do I need? How can I go about it? Step one, decision in principle. What this means is that you need to know your capacity to borrow, because as I said, you cannot wake up and say you're going to buy a house. How do you go about it? The first thing, you need to find out what is your capacity to borrow. We can help you find out your capacity to borrow. I can help you calculate your capacity to borrow so that you can know how much the bank can be able to lend you. Okay. Then secondly, you can be able. The second step, you build your application. What this means is that you get your documents in order. You get the paperwork ready, with a list of documents that are required, so that you can prepare your mortgage application. The third step, the approval process will start. Once you receive the documents, we are going to send them to the broker, who in turn is going to send the documents to the bank, and you will negotiate the best interest rate for you. And of course, in the same way, you can also negotiate for you to have a higher loan, because by yourself, you can decide to go to the bank and you ask for a loan. They can give you, for example, 100,000. But when you go to a broker, then because of their good relations with the bank, they can be able to negotiate a higher amount of loan for you. Let's say for your bank can give you 100,000. Going through the broker, he can be able to get you 120,000. It is better to go through the broker, because they know how to talk, they have good relations with the bank, they know how to maneuver their way about. So through their experience and their expertise, they can be able to negotiate a higher loan for you. Step 4 is life insurance and bank account. Of course, if you're not living in France, you'll have to open a bank account in France. And if you don't have already a life insurance, an insurance for to cover the mortgage loan, you must have an insurance for it. Otherwise, the bank cannot accept your application as well. Step 5, you're going to receive the offer from the bank. This is a piece of paper. This is a letter that will come from the bank telling you how much they can give you with the interest rate. Everything will be detailed, and you have 10 days to retract. If you don't want to go ahead, you have 10 days to think about it, whether you want to go ahead and purchase your house or not. Then step 6 is going to be the completion process. Now, after 10 days, you decide you want to go ahead with the offer. You want to take the offer, and you have decided now to buy the house. Then you're going to take it over, and then you're going to go to the notary, and you're going to organize the finalizing date where you can come and sign the documents at the notary office. Okay. So if you have a question concerning the mortgage process, you can ask me later if it is not clear. I want to emphasize the importance of working with the brokers, because the brokers are there to, they're people that are very specialized in their work of in the area of finance. So these kind of people, they can help you to negotiate the best interest rate for your loan. They can be able to negotiate for your loan mortgage so that it can be higher than normally it could have been, and you get a wealth of experience from this kind of brokers. So it is always interesting for you. The advantage is that you benefit from the expertise. Maybe the only thing is that you have to pay at least between 1,500 and 2,000 euros. But I would say it is better for you to pay and you benefit from a higher mortgage, a better negotiation, than not to pay at all and you just get a low mortgage with a low interest rate or a high interest rate, and then you pay more than you could have paid before. So it is always good to go to an expert. We're going to look at the documents. Okay, so what is required for you when you're going to buy a house in France? You need to have at least the last 3 months bank statements of all accounts. When I talk about all accounts, I'm talking about the accounts where you're saving your money, the accounts where you receive your salary. These accounts are very, very important. If you're married, of course, the bank account for your spouse as well. Evidence of any additional income, so if you have rental income, if you already have a rental home, pensions or dividends, the last 3 months pay slips and tax returns. The tax returns are very important so that they can know how much you've been earning the previous years. The French mortgage application form that talks about you're going to fill up the details, how much you want and how much you earn. There are details that you're supposed to fill up in that mortgage form. The life insurance questionnaire, of course, to say whether you have a life insurance or not. The French bank account application form, it will come from the bank, and passport copies or your papers in France, your marriage certificate, copies you're married, proof of your home address because they want to know whether you're living in France. The proof of your home address is very important because when I talk about the subsidized mortgages, they are only available for those people living in France. If you're not living in France, if you don't reside in France, you cannot benefit from the subsidized mortgages like the PET at zero, like the interest-free mortgages, the social loans. You cannot benefit from that if you're not living in France. It's good for you to note. That's why when they ask for the proof of your home address, they want to know, are you a resident or a non-resident? Because if you are non-resident, there are other conditions. If you are resident, now there are other conditions for you as well. So good for you to note that. Also, about the other thing I want to talk about is the negotiating for your mortgage. Why negotiate for your mortgage? You might want to negotiate for your mortgage because you already bought your house. It's been some years that you've been paying for your mortgage, and now you find that now you have to maybe the circumstances have changed. You're no longer earning the same. There's a big change in the family income, and so you decide you want to negotiate your mortgage. Or you might also have another reason that I've not mentioned. So for these reasons, you can decide to negotiate your mortgage to have a low interest rate, because if you negotiate your mortgage to have a low interest rate, it means the money that was supposed to pay, the interest, that you go to the interest, then that is the money that you're going to use to pay faster the remaining loan, and then it will reduce the amount of time that you're supposed to pay your loan. So, for example, you are supposed to pay your loan in 20 years, and you want to renegotiate or negotiate your mortgage on the 15th year, then you can be able to pay faster, and maybe in another 2 years you can clear up completely your mortgage. So that will be very helpful for you, and so we can help you go about that through our brokers who are experts in negotiation of the mortgage. And talk to me. I can connect you with a broker, and then he will see how you will go about negotiating your mortgage so that you can be able to pay a low interest rate and pay faster for your house. Okay. And of course, if you can be able to pay faster for your house, it's good because you can be able to get another loan and then do another project. So it is, I'm giving you the information to know that it is possible to negotiate your mortgage or interest rate. So don't be comfortable now that you have a loan to pay for the next 30 years and you feel like there's nothing you can do about it. After a particular time, you can be able to negotiate your mortgage. My number is 0781 43 40 31. 0781 43 40 31. If you're looking at your screen, I have put my email address, my personal email address, and my office email address. diananjoroge82@gmail.com is my personal email address, and contact at Hosanna Finance is my office email address. So say if you know somebody that wants to buy a house, somebody that is asking themselves questions on how they can get a loan, how they can be to know information how they can buy in the new build or in the old build, then please let me know and I'll advise that person. Send me their contact and I'll be able to talk about it with them. We have properties all over France, in the new build. When I talk about the new build, I'm talking about buying properties based on the architectural plan. It is not a house that is ready available. There are houses that are yet to be constructed or they're in the process of being constructed. Those are the new houses. And the advantages of using these kind of houses, buying in the new build, is that you can be able to optimize your taxes in this kind of housing. We also have old houses all over Ile-de-France specifically. So if you wish to buy an old house in the Ile-de-France, the Paris region, then we also have those kind of offers that could interest you. But for the new build, we have properties all over France. Are there any questions coming?
Somebody is asking a question.
Yes.
Saying I'm a Kenyan national living in France. Can I buy a house in France?
Of course. If you have your documents, yeah, you can be able to buy a house in France. And actually, and you have seen it even with other clients, even with 1 year paper, you can be able to buy a house in France.
Okay, with 1 year paper you can buy. Okay,
1 year paper,
buy.
yes. Yeah.
Okay, but the only challenge will be to get a loan from a bank. If you have cash, well and good.
We have cash well and good. And of course, if you have somebody specialized, that's why we are working with specified brokers, they can know how to advance your file in some of the banks that they are working with.
Okay.
We had a client that had a 1 year document. The only thing is that the document should not be close to close to being close to expiring, because if it's going to be expiring in 1 month, then you have to wait until you renew that paper, and then when the paper has been renewed, now you go ahead and start the application process.
Okay, there's Moaz is asking with a residence card whether he can buy. I think the residence card is the récépissé. Or not the récépissé, what do you call it? No, not récépissé, 10 years. 10 years.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
of course. Even 10 years is good enough. It's good enough.
But do you think a bank can give somebody a loan to buy a house in France if you have, for example, 10 years? Or for 1 year, let's say, because we know here papers go 1 year. For example, you can get a titre de séjour for 1 year, or the residence card for 10 years. For the first 1 year, the first card of 1 year, can you get, if maybe you have a good job, can you get a loan with that?
It might be tricky, but if you get the second card, it will be okay, because concerning the papers, the French the titre de séjour, the first document they give you, it is like a test. The prefecture gives you, it's like a test to see whether you are really going to maintain that job, or especially if the paper is titre de séjour salarié. The first paper normally is like a test to see whether you're going to maintain that job, or then when you apply for the second time, now they start seeing that you're a bit stable, you can be able to get your documents. That's why at the beginning, sometimes the banks can be reluctant because it's going to be your first titre de séjour in France. They wonder whether you're really going to maintain it, or maybe you might not have the second titre de séjour.
Okay.
Might not be able to renew your papers that is. But once you're able to renew your titre de séjour, then it's well and good. They can be able to. And I'm insisting that not every broker will accept the first titre de séjour. There are brokers that really insist that the document has to be 10 years, 4 years minimum, 4 years, 5 years, or 10 years. You see? But we worked with a broker that when we were able to help our clients who had 1 year to be able to start the process of, and she got a loan, by the way.
Okay, hope your question is answered, Moaz. Maybe another question I've had people asking before, a Kenyan in Kenya.
Yes, that's a non-resident.
Non-residents.
This person must open first a bank account in France. Once they open that bank account in France, now they can be able now to buy a house in France. But
why bank account?
Because you have to actually there's a you need to know where that money is also coming from, and for you be able to because actually it is like a condition. It's a condition that you cannot buy a house if you're non-resident and you don't have an account in France.
Okay.
It's a condition.
It's a condition. Also, maybe it will facilitate the transaction at the same time, so that you can deposit your money there to pay, because you know you have to go to the notaire to do the paperwork, all this. Maybe
and also you know with the non-residents it's tricky, and that's why it takes a bit of time, because for the non-residents you don't know the source of funds. You don't know whether that money is coming from drugs. You don't know whether it's coming from some fishy schemes that they have. So even when that money goes, the work of the notary, and that's why they're also insisting that the money goes through the bank, is that they have to know the source of funds, where that money is coming from, and then the notary will have to check up to verify the source of funds, especially because non-residents they buy cash, and you have a non-resident who's buying a house for 1 million. They want to know where that million, where is it coming from? Do you have a business? What are you doing to have that money? So the French system is very strict also on the non-residents wishing to buy a house. But if you know your case is clean and you have some cash in Kenya and you just want to transfer it, you're going to transfer the money in the bank account in France, then well and good, you can be able to buy your house in France.
Okay, I'm still looking for more questions from my phone. There is Elsie who is watching. Elsie, welcome. So she's asking, does it mean I have to have a CDE?
Yes, it really means you have to have a CDE. And if in this case you don't have a CDE, not just a CDE, you have to have a CDE, and you have to have finished your trial period, the 1 month or 2 months period, the beginning. So once that is done, then with the CDE and your salary slips, you can go ahead and apply for the loan, for the mortgage. But if you are in a CDD, and that CDD has been there, because the companies that renew the CDD for like 2-3 years, and you can prove that consistently you had a CDD, there was no time that it was cut short and you stayed for a year without working consistently for three years, the bank can accept.
Okay, but this is only just for the the bank side, because the house you can still buy even if you have 1 year. If you can pay cash, it's only to get the funds from the bank.
Even if you don't have your CDD and you have cash, you don't have CDD, you have cash, it doesn't matter. But if you're planning to go through the bank,
you must have. Okay. Can students buy a house in France?
Students can buy a house in cash as long as if they're going to buy it cash.
Because no bank will give you a loan.
Yeah, if you pay cash, that's well good enough. Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question. Can we buy a house in France as a group of all partners?
Oh yes, it's possible to buy a house as a group.
Okay.
Many people buy houses as a group, and I think I did I think I should do one again concerning how people can buy a house in groups.
There's Moise who's asking,
Yes.
Does the salary matter?
Of course, the salary matters, because if you're earning 500 euros per month and you say you want to have a house, it is going to be tricky for you to.
There's the 33% they when you get a loan in France. What we call the taux d'endettement. That 33%. Maybe you can explain that, because the salary matters, but you might be looking for a house which is not very expensive, and you are still in the 33%. Maybe you can explain how that is calculated.
So yeah, actually it is to calculate your capacity to borrow. When you calculate
your capacity to borrow.
Capacity to borrow. So for example, you have 3,000 euros. I think you have your calculators. So we have 3,000 euros as a salary, okay? And then you want to calculate your capacity to borrow. You multiply by that 3%. But just to let you know that the increase now it is 35%.
It's 35%.
It is not 35%. So you take 35% of the 3,000 euros. Now 3,000 euros represents your salary. So put your salary where I put 3,000 euros. Huh? So according to my calculator, it is 1,050 that is remaining. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about the 35% of the salary, it means that when you get a loan, that you should not pay that loan beyond 1,050 euros.
Okay. So if you get a loan which you should pay back maybe 1,000 euros per month,
yes,
it's okay.
1,000 euros.
Yeah, if I'm saying, if for example because your capacity you said is 1,050. So
your capacity to repay, it means your capacity to repay is
yes.
1,050 euros. You are told on that month. Yeah.
Okay.
You can just go beyond this.
In other words, in other words, it means your capacity to borrow depends on what you want. On what you want, how much you want to borrow.
How much you want to borrow, yes.
Yes. So the salary, it matters when it comes to calculate your capacity to borrow.
Your capacity, yes. Very, very important. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And just to mention concerning the optimization of taxes, I want to precise that for people that are paying taxes more than 2,500 euros per year, then you can be able to optimize your taxes, because the condition is that the limit, as if you pay more than at least minimum 2,500 euros per year in annual taxes, then you can be able to get a property to optimize, reduce, or to eliminate your taxes.
Okay, you are talking of optimization.
Optimization.
Maybe you can give more details. How do you optimize that? An example, for example. Give us an example.
An example of optimizing your taxes. You can one of the ways to optimize your taxes actually is to buy in the new build, and to buy properties like, for example, in the senior residence homes, the touristic residence, a student residence, or a rental residence, and then use the law that is called Pinel. Actually, the topic of Pinel is quite large, but just to say that with the law that is called Pinel, you can be able to optimize your taxes up to 63,000 euros in 12 years. So you start first of all by reducing your taxes by 2% the first 6 years, and then you're going to reduce with another percentage to the 9th year, and then you continue reducing to the 12th year with another percentage. So in 12 years, you're going to reduce your taxes up to 63,000 euros. Okay. I want to precise that with this kind of option to optimize your taxes, you can benefit up to the end of the year. So you have until next year for you to be able to benefit from this. Afterwards, the conditions are going to change, and now you can only be able to reduce to benefit from less than 63,000 euros in 12 years.
Yeah, so that's good for those who are paying a lot of taxes. Huh? And when you want to optimize like that, you are buying, it's for rental or for yourself?
Optimization of taxes is only for rental property. That's why I'm talking about the student's residence. You're not going to stay in that student's residence. You're going to rent it out to the students. The touristic residence, you're going to rent it out to the tourists coming. The senior residence home, these are places for old people. you're going to rent it out to the old people, and which is good because these kind of homes, for example, the old people, they are managed, and what it means is that whether that place is it has a person or not, whether an old person is renting it or not, you have your income by the end of the month. In French, they call it residence gérée.
Residence gérée.
Yeah, okay. It is managed. So actually, it's a very good way to optimize your taxes because you know that once you have it, you let it, you give it for, you let it to be managed, and you have your money each month, and you're able to optimize your taxes. And the one that I'm talking about, the penal, is only for rental property, and you cannot stay in that house. You have to rent it out.
You can tell us how much do you charge? For example, is there a certain amount you charge when you are working with somebody like that? Because, for example, if I come to you and I ask you to get a credit for me, or I want a house, is there an amount I should pay to your company, or?
Actually, no. When you come to when you visit us, or when you call us to tell us that you want to go ahead and you want to buy a house, you have a project, and you want to be advised, we do not charge you. We do not charge you. We offer you free advice. Okay, it's free advice. But for people, of course, who want to do the grouping, for the grouping of they want to buy properties as a group, we charge you 1,500 because of the payment of the administration cost that will cost us to help you open your account.
Because you are the one who will do the paperwork.
You are going to do the paperwork. Okay? But if you're going to buy your rental house or your own house, your main house, we're not going to charge you. We are going to give you all the information that you require. We're going to advise you. We are going to accompany you because as you are paid by the promoter is one that pays us when people buy the apartments from us.
In other words, it means that with you, I'll not waste my time going up and down to the banks to do things.
No, we are going to handle. Yes, okay. We're going to handle your process from A to Z. We're going to take over your file. We are going to connect you with the necessary people. We are working with brokers that have good connections with the banks. They have wealth of experience. We're going to negotiate the best interest rate for you and the best mortgage for you. And of course, so I'm talking about global accompaniment. You have any questions, you're going to be there for you. We're going to accompany you. When it comes to going to the notary, you're going to be there. The first day when you're given the keys, I am going to be in that house celebrating with you.
Like, when you were here in France, if you want to buy a house, it's true. You can do it by yourself, but you have to go bank by bank, try to get the best, because all banks don't give the same rates.
Exactly.
There's already the loan you are going to get.
Yeah.
On top of that, you should take an insurance, which differ very much, a lot.
Exactly.
From bank to bank. So it's maybe there is where brokers come in.
Yeah, I want to emphasize that point. It is true that it is possible for you to buy by yourself the house, but you need to have a lot of time. You need to have the expertise to be able to negotiate. You need to have that time, as I'm saying, because people are working every day. You have to create time to go and visit. Whereas it is our work. That is what we do. We have the time to do it because it is part of our work. We are going to go to the bank. We have the connections. We have the houses at our disposal. So we are going to save a lot of time working directly with us than doing it by yourself.
I think it's a good idea to go through agents like Diana if you want to buy a house. Already for the advice, that will save you a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yes.
Money. Okay, I want to emphasize something now. Depending on this, depending on the new housing. Okay, then now conditions have really changed since COVID. After COVID, now the banks have become a bit strict concerning giving loans. And now for you to be able to buy a house in the new build, as I said, new build, I'm talking about houses based on architectural plans, then you have to have at least 15% the amount of the house that you want to buy. So if you are targeting a house that is 150,000, you have to have 15% of 150,000.
That is the down payment, huh?
The down payment.
Okay.
Exactly. The down payment. Now, if you want to buy in the old houses I'm talking about existing houses that are already in the market, then you need to have at least 10% of the price of the house.
And does that change with the bank? Because maybe I go to Crédit Mutuel, I go to Banque Populaire, Caisse d'Épargne. Are they all of them? Do they ask them?
They might, it might be between 8 to 10%, but now most banks they're at 10%.
There's Rose who is asking this question. If I need to buy a rental house or apartment, do I need to have a company?
You don't need to have a company. You can even buy as an individual.
In your own name?
In your own name. Yeah. A rental house under your name. You
Okay.
don't need to have a company to be able to buy a rental apartment. But if you had already you had already created a company, for example, you wanted to buy as a group, then you can go ahead, of course, and buy another apartment, a rental apartment.
Okay. So Rose, you have heard that, huh? Rose is one of our Kenyan who is living in France, and those who need digital marketing services, she's there for you. She can help you.
Great.
So I hope your question is answered, Rose. There's Naomi is asking, hello, do I need to have money saved in the bank? I think that's what you are talking about.
Yes, you need to have a down payment. You cannot.
A down payment, yeah.
It is not possible to buy a house without a down payment. Absolutely important. Very, very important.
Some banks ask you to have this down payment to be able to pay the notary.
The notary fees, yes.
Yeah, the notary fees.
The notary charges, the bank charges that it will cost you, which is about 3,000 euros. Yes. That's the notary charges and other charges, of course, that will go along with your file.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's where it corresponds to the 10%, something like that. So yes. You have Mwazi is telling you thank you for your information. Mwazi, if you need more advice, you can contact Diana at what is your number, Diana?
0781 43 40 31. 0781 43 40 31.
Okay, so Mwazi or anybody else who needs assistance or advice, just call that number. She's there to assist you. She's your fellow Kenyan in France. So the aim of doing this event here is just to empower Kenyans who are living in France. And because, like you know, when we are here in France, most of us stay in rental houses for years and years, year after year, and 20 years later, you still don't own that house which you have paid. I think in Paris, is to get an apartment, a good apartment, you are at around 1,000 euros per month. So just imagine that 1,000 you are paying per month, just giving it back as credit, and 20 years later the house belongs to you. That is very nice. That would be very interesting. So it's just to empower Kenyans and open eyes to Kenyans who are in France. We can grow. You can grow by just investing your own money instead of giving it to go to rent for rent. Those of us who have bought because of that reason. For my case, I was paying rent, and year after year I said, but I'm giving my money. Yeah. In 15 years, I calculated I can just go and take a loan and pay that loan back. Instead of paying rent, I give back the money to the bank. Yeah. And after, I know 15 years after or 20 years after, the house will belong to me. So after, I can sell it at the price I want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I invited Diana to talk to Kenyans, and so that you can be empowered. Yes, there's somebody who has sent me a message, but I think we had tackled this. She's asking how a Kenyan in Kenya can go about buying a house in France. You
That's
need
a
to open an
non-resident.
account. A non-resident, you need to open an account in France,
Yes.
of which the house you are going to pay it cash.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're going to pay it. You can pay it cash if you are a non-resident. You're going to pay
Yes.
it cash.
Non-residents will never get a credit in France. Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible. There are actually banks that work with non-residents.
Okay.
Yes, there are banks that work with like BNP. It works with non-residents, and but you have to prove, of course, you have to send your documents, the kind of job that you do, what your status, why you want to buy your house in France. So it is possible to buy, but it is now you're going to work with specific banks. We cannot work with all banks.
Okay. Okay. You'll not work with
We're not
traditional
going to
banks.
work with all the banks, but there are around 5 banks
Okay.
that are working with non-residents.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in case you are in Kenya and want to buy a house in France, Diana is there to assist you. Huh?
But most
So,
of the
okay.
times, I want to say that most of the times, non-residents, they buy cash.
So I think we have talked a lot, and you have given a lot of information on that. If you need more information on this, how to get a loan, just contact Diana, and she will assist you. So maybe I can just say thank you, Diana, for giving us, enlightening us on how to invest, because that's also an investment, how to invest in France and own your own house in France. So thank you for watching. Those who have asked questions, you can continue asking questions on the chat. Diana will be coming to the chat from time to time to answer, or you just contact her directly. I'll share our number on the chat. So maybe the last word, Diana, if you have something.
Just want to say thank you very much for you guys for being here. It's a pleasure to talk to you and to give you the information that you require. Know that I am available. You can call me anytime. I can answer your questions. We are based in the 17th district, Metro Port de Champore, and we are available at our offices. You can call me and then you can come directly, or you can talk on phone. You can organize a Zoom meeting also. I'm also available on Zoom. And don't hesitate. Know that you are available. We are here for you. We have apartments. I say once again, we have apartments all over France in the new build. We have apartments in the old build also, and individual homes all over the Paris region. So don't hesitate to contact me, and then we can discuss on how you can be able to go about your investment project. It is important. We are here, and let us invest where we are. This is it is not we are foreigners in this country, but we are also owning this. The Bible says, "Where our feet step on, we possess the land." So we are here to possess also this territory. As we construct in Kenya, as we invest in Kenya, let us also invest where we are, because this is also our inheritance. So let us continue advancing even in France. Thank you very much for your time.
So thank you very much, everybody. Nice time. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you soon.